Welcome to A1 Digital. This webinar should be interesting for any company related to rail freight and logistics in general. And we have a very international audience today. So let me tell you very quickly about our company, A1 Digital. We're a provider of digital solutions established in 2017, and we are a part of A1 Telekom Austria Group. And in our portfolio, you can find IoT and advanced analytics solutions. But we will also have a European cloud platform, Exoscale, and products from cybersecurity and also network as a service solutions. We have more than 1,500 customers. Among them are rail operators like Rail Cargo Austria or Rail Cargo Hungary, but also Rätische Bahn or Rail and Sea. We are around 200 employees located in various countries. For example, me, I'm located in Germany, in Munich, and Jürgen, you're in Austria. But we also do have a subsidiary in Lausanne, in Switzerland. Now, a very quick information about us today. Your speaker is Jürgen Rudolph, and I'm very happy that you are with us, Jürgen. You're innovation management and senior IoT solutions expert in rail at A1 Digital. We can truly say that you have the rail background because you have worked at ÖBB, at Austrian Railway, but also you do teach at the Technische Universität Wien, and you teach IoT in rail. Your host today, that's me, Philipp König. I'm product marketing manager for IoT. And now, without further ado, let's take the ride, and I will give the screen to Jürgen.
Thank you, Philipp. Thanks a lot. In addition to what Philipp mentioned, yes, I had been at the ÖBB, the large ÖBB, but not only that. I was head of innovation management at Rail Cargo Austria, and in this position, I was responsible for the start of Smart Cargo, the IoT project of Rail Cargo Austria, to make asset smart and to have additional use cases out of this. And please excuse me in the presentation. It's a little bit differentiation when I say we. Sometimes I mean we as my part as Rail Cargo, together with our supplier of the IoT solution with A1 Digital, and then in the following change to A1 Digital, and then is we from the side of A1 Digital together with Rail Cargo. But sometimes I mix it up only to warn you in front of the presentation. Yes. Why does rail need Internet of Things, IoT? We Rail Cargo started before the large tender with our initial thoughts, with design thinking session, and we fixed that our main intentions, our initial thoughts are to reduce costs, increase efficiency in rail transport, and also to increase safety and to prevent accidents. Some statements of these meetings was, I think, the most important one, and I learned that most of our customers now did the same thing we did then, and I think they have nearly also the same requirements to a digitization in rail transport. We want to know where our freight wagons are. I think this is the main topic, and it's especially in the international single car traffic that we do not know where our freight wagon is, how many miles, kilometers it has gone there, and it's like a fog. It's away, and when it passes the border to our home country, yes, we're saying, oh, hello. It's again here, and now we know what's happened with it, and this is the most important point to change, that you every time know where your freight wagon is, the exact mileage, and so on. Then the second intention was to offer better services to the customers. That means that we want to show them where actual the freight is on the way to the destination, and with a little bit effort we can expect the estimated time of arrival, the ETA. The other thing out of tracking and tracing was that it would be very helpful to know the exact mileage. These came from the workshop guys responsible for the maintenance issues. It's quite easier to organize the maintenance when we know exactly the mileage of the freight car. And yes, later I'll tell you also that it's possible to select what was this mileage in the flat land or in mountains or whatever. And then there was a significant item because rail cargo had I think really significant costs, and this means several million of euros caused by damages of improper loading. But later, a little bit more about it. How to start this IoT journey? This is the main question. And I think, first of all, I want to say that especially A1 Digital is not a hardware or software seller. We are guiding our customers through the whole IT chain, and we are one of the very few full stack providers in this area. How to start it? Yes. What are we doing? We ask questions, first of all. I do not want to go very deep in detail of technical stuff. Let me tell you what we are doing in a short way here. We will accompany our customers on the path from pure analog hardware to data-driven business models. First of all, we ask questions to find out what the right device will be. The second part, which is very interesting, it's interesting for the provider of the solution, not for the customer, because the customer tells the requirements, and we will find the best way of communication, for instance. And it doesn't matter on which frequency bands it will run. It has to run, it has to work, it has to be functional. The next thing we are asking about is the monitoring platform, mostly an IoT platform. Where should it be situated, on premise, on cloud, hybrid solution, whatever, a lot of questions, but we will find out and we will offer our customers the best way for his requirements or her requirements. And last not least, we have a lot of, Philip said it before, about 200 employees in A1 Digital, and I learned crazy people, crazy nerds, they are bringing out of data things we never expected before. And it's amazing what's deep in the data, and with a intelligent analysis, you can offer additional use cases with additional benefit for the customer. The next stage of the IoT journey, to explain it, how it will work. First, like I said, to select the right device. The right device, for example, at Rail Cargo, was a battery-driven version with a temperature sensor, a movement or in-motion sensor, GNSS offshore, and a 3D shock sensor, depending to the damages I mentioned before at improper loading, but later more. Then to select the right connectivity, do you need connectivity only in your home country, in the European Union, or regional or worldwide, whatever, with our background of A1 and the large network we have, we can offer a worldwide connection with M2M SIM cards as you want it as customer, as it is necessary for your business. Then the availability, should it be on premise? cloud, multi-cloud versions. Everything is possible. Our recommended version is the Exascale cloud. It's one of our own clouds. Philip mentioned it before. That Exascale is a pure European cloud. It's part of the Gaia X initiative, and it's completely independent of all US influences and so on. Then we will also guide our customers with the optimized mounting position and workflow. Together with the Rail Cargo A1, Digital created a catalog of all types of freight cars with the optimized mounting position. And it's necessary to do it because you will find out the best results if you really know where the device is mounted and what are the reasons of perhaps shocks, temperature, and so on when you know the position and it's comparable with other cars of the same type. Then there's a workflow of mounting, provisioning, and integration in the workshop applications or tools. And first of all, we ask the guys in the workshop, what do you expect will take time to take the device, to mount it at the freight wagon, to wake it up, provisioning, connect it to the tools, and it's to marry the device ID with the wagon number, because it's not useful that the customer shall search for the unique device ID. He has to search as usual for the number of his freight wagon, and automatically it's connected with the device ID. And the guys said, yes, we assume that it will need 50 minutes for all these things, and we optimized this workflow. We created some boxes with the right tools. We have a magnetic shield with the right positions of screwing there. We have self-cutting screws and so on. A lot of things to optimize this workflow, and we are very proud to say that we reached a final time of average 6 minutes per freight car. Now you can think about saving 44 minutes compared to the original business case means 44 minutes per freight car. In case of rail cargo, for about 13,000 freight cars, that means we can reduce costs from 9,500 hours only with optimizing workflow. This is also part of our service to our customers. Then to select the right IoT platform, functionalities, integration, the IoT platform is necessary to have the return channel to the device, to make configurations, to make updates of firmware and so on, and then to provide also user dashboards and to have interfaces to existing systems in your company. And last but not least, the supply logistics is also an important item, because also in the case of Rail Cargo Austria, there had been 10 workshops crowded around the whole country, plus a Hungarian one. And to guarantee that the right number of devices is at the right time available at the right workshop, it's also a challenge to do. But yes, we did it, and we have the experience, and we can give this experience to our next customers. Yes, use cases. I think I said in the announcement of this webinar that we won't discuss deep in technical details, but in the benefits, and the benefits are the use cases. First of all, in the foreground, we have tracking and tracing. The one and only first request is mostly that the logistic and disposition guys want to know where the nearest wagon type the wagon with type whatever, is to make geofencing to find the location of the freight cars and so on. I think this is the most important item. Then the actual status, the location of delivery for the customer information to improve also the service level we offer to the rail company is offering to their customers. And with a little bit intelligence behind, we can also provide customers with an estimated time of arrival. And last not least of tracking and tracing, with a mileage-based, I said usage-based maintenance, you have a quite better service coordination in your workshops. But that's not all. We have also use cases 2.0. This is more than tracking and tracing. I want to remark here that all these use cases here are not from additional sensors. It's all from the basic device I showed you before on the previous slide. Without any additional sensors, it's all out of this basic device. We can, in addition to the mileage-based service coordination, we can tell you, was this mileage mostly in flat land, flat areas, or in the mountains? That's useful to know about the brakes and so on. Then you have mileage-based invoicing for rented cars. It's very interesting, I think, because up to now, as I learned, is that if you rent a freight car to a customer and he uses it across whole Europe, at the end he will send you an estimated mileage in the time he or she used it. Now you have a real exact mileage of the freight car within the time of rental, and this will be, I think, mostly a little bit higher than the estimation of the customer. Let's think about 10% difference to be safe as a customer with the raw estimation, and plus 10% for the reality. With such a device, you can increase your income in renting freight cars for about 10% without additional work or something else. I think it's one of the most interesting use cases here. Then we have a damage indication by shock detection, for example, for hard shunting. This is important as well as for rolling stock, as also for sensible freight. Then we have a damage indication by shock detection by improper loading. This is especially for iron scarp loading. You know, they are doing a lot of old iron material, and to comprehense it, they bump with the large machines on the top of the wagon, and mostly wagons are damaged by this. And now it's possible to monitor it, to have the shock intention, that you have the time and the location, and when you communicate to your loaders here that you will monitor it, the assumption of rail cargo was that I think about 10% less will happen in the future, and another 5 to 10% we will be able to invoice to the cause of the damage. And I think when you, I said before, several million euros per year damages by improper loading, it's a very significant figure to point out here. And if you can reduce it, it's a huge part of your business case to reduce your total return on investment. Then with not so hard shocks without any impact of the rolling stock, but every time at the same geolocation, you have an indication for infrastructure damages. we created heat maps to offer it to the infrastructure provider to have a look there if there is a damage on the track, and that means it can avoid also accidents and in the future, knowing very early about these damages, and it's much cheaper than sending these trains with cameras to search for damages in infrastructure. Then I say it very simple now. Listening to the 3D shock sensor for some seconds while moving, it can be an indication of a flat spot in the wheel when there are very, very small shocks, but in a high frequency, it's an indication of a flat spot on the wheel, and this is also very important for maintenance issues. Then some of the rail companies, especially the infrastructure companies, are mounting around the whole country sensors to measure temperature. For instance, with our device, you have hundreds or perhaps thousands of moving temperature sensors to create weather maps around the whole country. It can be sold to the infrastructure provider, or you can find some other ways to benefit of it. And the last point here is an interesting one. In my time as head of innovation at Rail Cargo, a guy came to me and said, yes, we have the problem if we have transport of crushed stones. There are these wagons, they are open on the top, and if it's raining, they are very wet. And if the temperature is below the freezing point, it can be that the part is frozen. And when you go to the unloading track, you will open these flats, and nothing will happen except a small bump of the stones. But because of freezing there, they are not be unloaded. They cannot close the doors again. It's too dangerous to handle with it. They have to stand there up to the time where the temperature is high enough that it will be unloaded there. And this is blocking the track there. This costs money. And when you have an alert, this temperature sensor, to find out that it's dangerous to unload it, then please let it be. You're not blocking these tracks, and although this will save money. Here, there are some of these points really safety relevant. And I want to say, if these safety relevant items here will prevent only one accident, I think we have no further discussions about the business case. But because accidents are extremely expensive, especially in the rail sector. The overall target, yes, is also an item I want to discuss with you, and I hope you are asking several questions during this webinar. I think Philip will collect it, and we will have then the chance to discuss about it. Our overall target, I think, is that to make freight transport more competitive than road transports. Road transports now the main transport section, but also streets are not scalable, and we have to shift traffics, especially freight traffics, from road to rail. Digitization will help to optimize this workflow and processes. Digitization will also help to coordinate cargo and passenger transport, because it's a large issue. If you are in the rail business, you know that person traffic, passenger traffic is the number one, and has more and more higher speeds, and it's very difficult to find out the right slots for the cargo transport. Then we try to use all options to improve your business case and to start with the IoT journey. And the best time to start is now. And if you still started it, we'll also help you to optimize it. Then it's, I think, very important to talk with politicians and public authorities to simplify, for example, by digitization, the regulatories and the tremendous paperwork that's required today for freight transport on rail. And I become never tired to discuss also with politicians and public authorities that it's, from my opinion, the much better way to invest or to fund in rail freight instead on paying penalties for CO2 certificates. And it's necessary to shift transport from road to rail for our climate, because rail transport is the best solution for our climate. I think I will close with this statement here and looking forward to your questions.
Thank you very much, Jürgen. And indeed, we have received some questions. So the first one would be, why shouldn't we wait for the DAC, so digital automatic coupling with power line and data bus to cover most of the use cases?
Yes, thank you for this question. I love the initiative for digital automatic coupling, because everything what we can do for making the work at the shunting yards less dangerous and less heavy is a great initiative. And yes, it is a large step in front to have power line and data through the train. I was also involved in studies with Stefan Hagenlocher from the Technischen Innovationskreis Schienengüterverkehr. He did a study for the migration time from the normal coupling to the digital automatic coupling. It's everything great, but you have the connection from each freight car to the locomotive. If it is in a foreign country and it's not your locomotive, I think you will never get information, data from your freight wagon from this locomotive owner. It's necessary for every wagon owner to have his own device sending the location, sending the condition, whatever, to me to know what happens with my freight car. And I think these two communication streams will exist in the future side by side. I think both of them are really necessary to have.
Great. So one more question. How long does it take to implement such solutions?
I think with a preparation time of, it took us at our customers about after the order 2 or 3 months. Mounting the first device, you can start with your IoT journey, and to have a complete furnished fleet. It depends on your workshops, it depends on your service intervals. What I can say at Rail Cargo, the target is between 12 and 13,000 equipped freight cars, and after 3 years and something else, a little bit more than 11,000 are equipped. But I think that this is a curve in the beginning of the project. Every freight car coming to the workshop can be equipped. As long as you are still working with it, more and more freight cars come to the workshop which are still equipped, and to find the last one is the most difficult thing. So for the complete stack, I cannot give a concrete answer, but to start with collecting data and with the first use cases out of the data, you can start after mounting the first device.
Okay, great. So thank you very much, Jürgen. We do not have any further questions. So dear audience, if you find this interesting, please contact us and get in touch with us. Let's have a talk. And that's it for today. So looking forward for the next time, and have a great evening.